Yo, guys, it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid, it's the kid. It's your main man here, Double H, half to the whole, trying to live, trying to exist, man. And this was a topic that I wanted to do, with the light of everything that's happening and so forth. I wanted us to get very deep and very crucial. So I want us to go back into some real talk. And I thought that, to do this, I have to bring in my good man, Mr. Reef, man. This is my Ghanaian brother, my Ghanaian brethren, just to try and, talk about with all the stuff that's happening, with all the riots and everything that have been happening, the protests and everything, looking about how do we move forward. So rather than jumping up and down, protesting, doing all the kind of stuff, blah, blah, what do we do moving forward? So I thought, rather than have a title that says, oh, what should Black people do moving forward? I say, you know what? Rather than doing that, I think it would be better if I just said white acceptance and Black people's insistence of wanting to be accepted by the machine and by the system. So, and this is a conversation that me and my good friend Mr. Reef have been having. So, and we thought, you know what, because we've been having these conversations for so long, let's just bring this in here, have a little back and forth, and then we can go. So, Mr. Reef, just sort of introduce yourself in a very basic way, so guys know who you are. You don't have to go into any detail, just to introduce yourself to the peeps.
Yeah, how are you guys? Everything's all good. I've known Mr. HH for a good while now. Good while. We go back. We've worked together. We've watched the World Cup together. We talked about together. We always have these little convos as well on WhatsApps and so forth.
Okay, so let's start here, man. What do you make of all these protests, these revolts, Blackout Tuesday, Black Lives Matter, Black is Beautiful, Love Black People, all that kind of stuff? What is your viewpoint on all the stuff that you've been seeing for the past week or so that has taken over the world?
It's it's a lot of information to digest and take all on board, all in just one go. But people have got their social platforms. Obviously, they're allowed to sort of say what they want to say on it and vent their frustrations out and so forth. So if that's what people want to do, then yeah, definitely. I'm not one.
So so why aren't you sort of with the protest and going out there shouting the banners and so forth?
Look, like the police have said, these protests are unlawful already. With COVID-19, they're unlawful already. So if you want to go out and break the law, then you need to understand the consequences that come with breaking the law. So yeah, you may want to protest. It could be 3-4 weeks down the line, you get a knock on the door from the police saying, "Oh, were you here and were you there?" And now you've got questions to ask for. So if you want to if you're happy with what comes with it, then there isn't an issue. But for me, I don't think it's the route to go down.
Okay. I mean, let's even go back to this whole topic then. And this is a conversation that me and Reef have been having. Because I've been looking at all this stuff, and what I always say is that, what is your end goal? What are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, what do you want exactly?
Yeah, exactly. Because again, you can't just protest for the sake of protesting because you're just angry and you want to vent. It's everything, and this is just me. I don't know about other people, but this is just me. There has to be a point of what you're trying to do and what you're trying to achieve. So here is my point of view here is that you have to definitely protest for injustice. 100%. You have to protest for injustice and to be treated fairly, to be treated better. But what people don't understand, because I think what is interesting is this is for younger people. This is definitely a thing pushed forward by younger people. Okay, and yeah, I'll keep it basically. I actually was at the protest today because I said, you know what, let me just look at what it looks like on the ground. And okay, so you see, okay, let me just back up. So when I was going there, I just assumed, maybe foolishly, that it's just going to be all Black people. Because I said, oh, Black Lives Matter. Hey, man, let me just get with my Black brothers, my Black people and everything. But when I went there, it was really a big mix, but it was actually probably more white people than there were black people, which is good, because I think that if you have white people out there who support the cause, I think it is great. But as I just scanned everywhere, and I just looked, I said, okay, so what are you trying to achieve here? Because my thing is this, is that, and again, we now go back to John Boyega. So from a John Boyega's point of view and everything, what he did was great, but are you trying to achieve true equality within this system? If that's what you're trying to achieve, you will fail. You will fail. Because as me and Reef have said, and I think Reef will come in, you have these are the options. Either you have a war to destroy the system and you take over, you have to create your own system. Because the issue I'm having, the issue I've always had with black people is you crave white acceptance. You only want to succeed within the paradigm that white people have built. This is their castle. This is their kingdom. What makes you think that you can be a king in a kingdom that they built? It doesn't make any logical sense, you know? And I think what I always find unfortunate is that black people for so long have craved that white acceptance and said, you know, until I am accepted and I am awarded by the white world, as long as I'm awarded by the system, I have succeeded. And for me, that is a loser's mentality. It's a loser's mentality because, again, it's like, no matter how, because then again, they're just deciding whether or not you're good enough. So you don't even know whether what you did is actually deserved. But hence why the thumbnail I put up was Cuba Gooding Jr., who won the Oscar for what's it called? The I can't remember the name of the film with Tom Cruise. He didn't deserve that flipping Oscar. The guy just shouted up and down, and he was just being like your regular stereotypical black guy. But whites liked it. He liked him jumping up and down. And hey, boy, take that. And then he's like, yes, I've made it because I've won this Oscar. I've won this coveted white prize. You know, so I mean, Reef, so I want you to jump in here. Thoughts about what black people are doing, the points of this whole protest, and whether equality, because maybe you think I'm wrong, maybe you believe that equality can be achieved in this system, either in America or England.
Well, you see, the thing with Black Lives Matter is in England already they had things like the anti-Nazi League and anti-fascist leagues. So what you saw with loads of white people campaigning on behalf of ethnic people and so forth, it's been happening in Britain already with that particular movement already. So in that sort of sense, it isn't anything new. It's just something rebranded, if you look at it from that perspective. You said, what did you said now on equality?
Yes. Yeah, so do you think that, because again, I believe that what this whole movement is about is for equality, black people to be treated better and black people to be treated exactly the same as white people. I 100% believe that is the goal of this whole thing. You know, because again, when I looked around and I looked at the signs of like, you know, racism is wrong, racism is evil, black people, because even as well, even the Black Lives Matter slogan, I understand it, I accept it, but again, I don't like it. And I'll tell you why. I like it in the sense of, guys, no. Black lives do matter as much as white lives. So yes, don't just disregard them and treat us like dogs. I believe in that. But I hate that whole thing of, oh, we matter too. We're beautiful as well. Please, white man, please love us. We are also good as well. We matter as well. Because now people will hate me for this. People will hate me for this, and I hope that this video isn't seen. I didn't like John Boyega crying when he made that speech. I didn't like it. John, why are you crying? Because again, this is where me and Reef are going to go to. Because if you have your own kingdom and your own castle, why are you crying? By you crying is because you want to succeed in their castle and in their kingdom. And by you crying, they will view you as a loser. I know people, this is something that I hope doesn't even get shown on CNN or BBC, because this is like the X-rated viewpoint. But John, why are you crying? Like, why? It's just because people racially abused you for being a stormtrooper. Hello, newsflash, Star Wars is a white thing. It's for whites. I'm sorry. And it's cool. They created it. White people made it famous. It's for them. It is what it is. So why are you crying that? Sorry. So Rafe, go for it. Go for it.
That's what I was just going to add there. It's just like James Bond being black. He isn't black. James Bond is a white character.
Yeah. It's like, you see, for me, it's like, I don't understand because that's just the thing that just frustrates me here is that what the system, because again, you have to be very clear here. I don't paint white people with one brush because it was great to see when I went out over there, seeing white people who were like, against racism. Again, we'll get to that in detail, but it was good to say, man, these are white guys going out here up and down. And I think what was great, Reef, what was great, I don't know what you think about. What was great was young people. Now, I have a very particular viewpoint of young people because I don't know whether you're doing it to be hype or whether it's like, oh my God, this is the new generation. And maybe the vicious wheel is being broken. So all those demonic pieces of crap, racist, hook and rot in hell, who are the older people that could influence these young minds, maybe these young minds are saying, no, F you. We listen to Kendrick, we listen to J. Cole, we listen to Drake. We're on this whole Black Lives Matter thing. Let's be cool with black people. But my thing, Reef, is this. Are you just doing it because it's cool and trendy? Or do you really believe in this? So Reef, from your point of view, do you believe that people are just doing it because it's trendy or they really believe in this movement?
Look, social media is a very powerful tool. So obviously, if you see your timeline is just full of all of this stuff of Black Lives Matter, oh, I went to protest today, you may get drawn in through emotion and say, you know what, like you did, let me go have a look and let me go and see what's going on. So you end up going down and not really looking at the basics and the fundamentals.
So basically, so in your point of view, how should black people sort of move forward then? What is what is the right tactic? Is it protest? Is it build your so how is the right way to move forward from this kind of situation that we're in right now?
When it's like when you're learning anything, when you're in school or you're doing this, you have to have a foundation. You have to understand what you're doing. So do people even understand what supremacy even means? I mean, you've got your desktop there. Maybe you could do a quick Google search and put on the screen so people understand what supremacy, the word, actually means. Then you can sort of get a sort of good understanding of what you're actually fighting against, rather than just following what other people are doing.
All right, let me pull this up. All right. So supremacy, the state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. The state or condition of being superior to all others in authority, power, or status. So then, okay, so let me even give you my interpretation there. And this is just from my viewpoint, then I will let you go. This is hundreds of years in the making. Hundreds of years. It's like, what makes you think you can overthrow a system of supremacy that has been very carefully built for hundreds and hundreds of years? Even the white person who isn't racist, he is open to black people, he loves black people, subconsciously, he is still living off and evoking this foundation of supremacy that his forefathers built. And he's just doing it subliminally, subconsciously. And I think people don't really understand what a system is because we don't have long in this world, and you should never ever waste time in this world. Hence why I said I'm not wasting my time changing the mind of a racist. Screw him, fuck him. I don't give a damn. He can, he's a piece of crap. That's a waste of my time. But it is also a waste of time in my lifetime trying to overthrow a system that has been built for hundreds upon hundreds of years. That doesn't make any sense. So, Riff, so from your point of view, looking at this whole thing about supremacy, where do you go?
Well, then you sort of move on to privilege. If you now search the word privilege, and then you move on from there. And then obviously, when you've looked at privilege, you just put white in front of those two words, and then you understand a little bit better of what's going on.
So privilege is special rights, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. Interesting. A special rights, advantage, or immunity granted or available only to a particular person or group. So in your viewpoint, this can't be overturned, or can it be overturned?
Well, it really depends. Are you talking about those in the West? Are you talking about globally, or?
Oh, no. Those in the West, basically, minorities of those in the West, can they overthrow that privilege or that supremacy? Because again, I am going back to that. Okay, what are you trying to achieve? I believe you're trying to achieve equality. So then the question is, if you're trying to achieve equality, can you achieve equality with this privilege and supremacy intact? Or is that an oxymoron? As in, you can't have equality.
Type in the word equality.
Oh, okay. So type in the word equality. You see, because you can't, because if you now look at equality, the state of being. Sorry?
Well, type in equality and let's see. You're going to type in equality and then.
Yeah. So basically, this is equality. The state of being equal, especially in status, rights, or opportunities. The status of being equal, especially in status, rights, or opportunities. So when we now look back again, privilege, a special rights advantage. See that word there? Advantage or immunity are granted only to a particular person or group. And we go back again to supremacy. The state or condition of being superior. Guys, look at that word there. Superior. See that word there? Superior. Superior to all others in authority, power, or status. And my question is this, and I'm sure Reef will go on here. Why in the bloody hell would white people in power in the system want to share their power?
There you go.
Why? Because see, this is what you have to think about it in logical terms. Is just thinking about it in basic terms. I have achieved power. I have achieved supremacy and privilege. Living with supremacy and privilege is really good. People want to be you. You have greater advantages. People liken themselves towards you. People see you as superior. It makes you feel powerful. It makes you feel invincible. You feel like you're almost a god. Why would you want to give that up? Because if we have equality, all that's gone. White is no longer beautiful. Blonde and blonde is not what we want to achieve. Therefore, black, white, brown, they're all equal signs of beauty. Then there's no supremacy or privilege. Reef, do you know what the sick thing is? Reef, I'll tell you what the sick thing is. This is the sick thing. No human society can live fully in equality.
There you go, exactly. But not in a capitalist system, definitely not.
No, because someone, as I say, especially in the capitalist society, even if I will argue though that even in a communist society, there are still people who are in power. Because there's still people who are exploiting this full concept of, hey, we're all the same. Nah, in a communist socialist society, there's still somebody in power. But in the West, in a capitalist society, there has to be someone in power. Look, there has to be someone in power. It can't be even.
The simple sort of outlook on it is there's winners and losers, and the losers are black people. That's sort of the simple outlook on it for this system to work.
Because there's something that you said. You see, that's where you're going to. Something that you said that was really good. When we're talking about how for supremacy to work, there have to be losers. That is how the system works. There has to be people that says, "You're crap. I am better than you. Just by being born, I am better than you. I'm just by being born, you're just bad." And that's even deeper, me feeling sorry for you, that is still an element of power. Which is why I have a massive issue with John Boyega. I love him. I'm a huge fan. I'm supporting everything that he does. He's been brave. But I have a huge problem with John Boyega crying. Because him crying shows that, yeah, man, this system it's big. It's big. And what I've always said is that, why do you want to succeed in this system? You can never truly succeed in the system. You never can't. You'll always be fighting. Look at the issue that we're now having with Will Smith now. If you go to Will Smith's Instagram, everybody's saying, "Yo, Will, what are you going to say? You've said nothing. Sell out. Look at you, traitor, or because you're rich." And this is Will Smith. Because think about this now, Reef. Will Smith has gotten to the very top of the system. He has. He has gotten as far up to the white system as you possibly can get as a black man. You can't go any higher than Will Smith. And even as high as he's gone, you are still a nigger. Because your fellow black people are reminding that you are still a nigger by saying, "Yo, Will, I don't care how rich you are, I don't care how famous you are, why haven't you spoken about George Floyd or Breonna Taylor?" Will Smith is like, "Hey, look, I'm Will Smith. Everyone loves me. I'm the everyman that everyone loves me." But people are saying, "No, black, no. You're still black." And that is the thing that people are missing. You can, as a black guy, you can never truly succeed in this system. It's their system. They rule. They rule.
Well,
so
yeah. Let's put equality.
Go for it.
Let's put equality on the screen.
All right, so yeah, let's put equality. Yeah. So the states of being equal, especially in status, rights, or opportunities. Wait, so you want to add to that, Reef?
Well, look, we know that doesn't happen. We've been there, we've worked in places, and we've seen that doesn't necessarily happen, does it?
But it's like, do they? But my thing though is that, do people think that this is a realistic achievement? That's my thing. Do you believe that this is a realistic? Because and this is just what boggles my mind. Do you really believe that you will get equality in this system? Because that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, that's where the internet and social media has got people sort of messed up. There's got people messed up. If you type in the word reality, a lot of people forget about reality. What's actually happening in reality? There's a lot of sort of la la land. Oh yeah, he's good. This bloody. But what about the reality? What is the reality?
No, because see, Reef, I think the thing though is that people like to make themselves look. They like to feel good about themselves. They like to feel good about themselves. So it's like, we're all the same. We can all be together. We can all treat everyone the same. As I went out there at those protests, I looked at those white people. I was like, oh my gosh, this is a beautiful thing to see. It is a beautiful thing to see all these white people with Black Lives Matter and marching towards. This is a beautiful, amazing thing to see. And this is almost like a utopia. Man, everyone is moving together. But then I see that's like my good HH mind. Then now goes to my realistic HH mind. Say, okay, HH, let's not get real. When all this is done, that white lady saying Black Lives Matter, in about 2 weeks, I may walk past and she'll probably give me a weird look. 2 weeks later. Or she may crack a joke calling me a monkey or a baboon 2 or 3 weeks later. She very well could. Because This is a moments thing. And the issue I have with this Black Lives Matter thing is that, is this a realistic movement or is this just a trend? That's the thing.
No,
Is it?
they've proven themselves to be a trend already. We've seen it already.
Why? In terms of what? What do you mean?
Well, they had that protest of the guys. Where was it? In one of the airports, London Airport. The climate change people went to protest in terms of Black Lives Matter. That was maybe 4 years ago. Maybe if you do a Google search, you can see it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
A serious organization. Like anybody can pick up a couple of cardboard, whatever you call it, and write something and then say they're part of the movement. There doesn't seem to be any leadership or any one focal person that you can go to.
I mean, because I remember that there was one where like they were doing it because of like an airport thing or
an airport where they sort of steamed the airport and they started lying down on the tarmac.
Yeah.
I think you got to put London Airport, airport. Yeah.
Yeah. Because this is the issue with this freaking movement. It's like it's now trendy. It's now become trendy because this has nothing. See, Black Lives Matter hits London. See, this has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. This is an airport thing, climate change thing. So what people are, because this is what always happens. It will always. This is also what I was saying. This guys yesterday. It's like this is what happened yesterday with well, I was talking about hashtag Me Too. Hashtag Me Too was created by this black woman called Tamara Buck about how black women have been treated sexually. Then it got co-opted by white women. So now when I think of hashtag Me Too, think of white women and how white women have now been aggrieved specifically. These movements, see, that's what I say. It goes from a movement to an organization. It goes from an organization to an institution. And institutions will always be poisoned and compromised somehow. And even when I look at the people putting on this whole Black Lives Matter thing and the other protests, what I say, I even look at them and like, do you even know what it's really about? Really? And it goes back to the major point. What are you fighting for? What is your goal? If your goal is equality, you will fail unless you have a war. unless you're prepared to die and have an all-out race war, you will not win. This system will fight to protect itself, which is why the title of my video is what me and Reef have been talking about is Black people, why don't you create your own system? Now, I think Mo was saying something in this with regards to, I think I'm saying secede or something. Now, this isn't a nature of like you just separating yourself and so forth and say, okay, no, we're going to create our own country. Like Reef brought up this very good point. Do you know that Nollywood I think Nollywood might be behind Hollywood in terms of how big the industry is. I think Nollywood is above Bollywood. Now, people will say, oh my gosh, Nollywood, okay, the production's not very good, the effects are not really all that kind of stuff, but it's 100% African owned. 100% African owned. It's like I always say that, would you rather be the king of a village or the servant in a palace? The palace is cool, Reef. The palace is cool. It's amazing. But Reef, I'm a servant. It's a palace, loads of rooms, but I'm a servant. The village is small, got a few huts here and there, a few things, but I'm a king in this village. I am a king. And yeah, I mean, it may not be a palace, but I am still a king.
But just to pick up on your point on the Nollywood point you touched on, obviously that then it goes to what we're talking about, white supremacy. If black people are helping to fuel it, thinking black films or products or whatever it may be are inferior, you're only fueling white supremacy.
So wait, so how in terms of what?
Well, if you're someone that believes that black products are inferior, and you say, "Oh no, but I'm gonna do business with a white man because I don't believe black businesses are any good," then obviously white supremacy is going to be fueled.
No, yeah, and because this is actually, do you know whether there's any truth in this? Who is this George Soros guy? I keep hearing this whole thing that he wait, who is this dude? Is this some kind of just rich dude or something? Because see, I have my questions about BLM. I am not with that organization. For me, I told you, I'm a lone wolf. I don't do organizations or institutions. No, I am an anti-institution person. I'm about let's just get black people aware on justice. I'm not wearing a Black Lives Matter jersey. I am not doing a hashtag Black Lives Matter. That's not happening for me because I don't know who is behind this and who benefits from this. I don't know. So now I'm hearing that there's a dude called George Soros. I don't know who the hell you are. But to your point that you were saying is yes, by you, because again, it's a sickness, it's a disease. Reef, white, it was brilliant. It was brilliant what they did. I don't care what anyone says. Yes, they're racist and all the people. Those colonizers, brilliant. Because what they did was that no, it's not just about colonizing. We have to psychologically imprison not only them, but generations. So it gets passed on that white is better, white is proper, white is beautiful, black is ugly, black is disorganized, black is unkempt. Drive this in, drive it in, drive it in, drive it in. Because by doing that, as you said, Reef, we maintain our supremacy. We maintain our supremacy. Because the worst thing is if blacks now mobilize, they get organized, they start building themselves up, they start really appreciating themselves. I was like, oh, so now like black people are like, no, we're not coming to the Oscars. Nah, we're cool. Nah, Grammys, we're cool. No, that's yours. You keep the Oscars and Grammys. We're not going to build all this up ourselves and create a ecosystem that we control. That is because then once you now because see Reeves, this is the key. This is the key. Let me run with it. This is the key. Sorry, this is the key. The key is this. Because throughout time, especially in America, like white people have always loved black culture. They always have. I always say that my saying is that everyone wants to be black. Nobody really wants to be black. So everyone will say, yo, my nigga this, my nigga that, nigga this, nigga that, nigga, because everybody loves the rap music. They want to see the rap music. They want to wear with the clothes. They want to talk the slang, jazz music, blues music, Afro beats, Afro culture, the Afro, the design, hip hop clothes, all that stuff. So black people always create stuff that excites white people within the entertainment arena. They always will. So if black people now said, whoa, we will now kind of like hold on to our entertainment and really have our own ecosystem, that is when you will now see things truly begin to change. But just explain to me this. Just explain to me this. What is this sickness in your view that black people need sort of white acceptance and they can't walk within themselves? Where does that sickness come from? Why?
That's the answer. It isn't simple sort of to answer.
Reef, Reef, it's a Saturday, we're gonna go in. Because I have my theories, we're gonna go in. But Reef, I want you to go in. This is fully 100% exposed. I want you to go fully in, man. Reef.
You just look, I think get YouTube up if you can.
Oh, actually, no, I can't really do YouTube because I will get things. I can really just Google stuff like tech stuff.
Yeah, okay. It's definitely something that isn't simple, is it? So it's all down to self-confidence and self-worth and not knowing who you are, and a whole multitude of things. It just isn't just one thing that you can sort of pinpoint it on, but it has to start with yourself, as somebody said in the comments, and your family. Your family have got to tell you who you are, where do you come from, what is going on within your family. Loads of people seem to know every single thing about the Kardashians and Kanye West. You ask them one thing about their family, oh, I don't know. Oh, I don't know. No one told me. And then you wonder why you lack identity, or you don't know where you're coming or going, and you're just following celebrities blindly. So for me, it's definitely doing your family tree is definitely key to understanding who you are and then where you're coming from and where you're going to go.
Well, no, I think it is very key because I said again, that's why, when we had this racism discussion and everything, I really, really do feel a great sympathy for the African American. I can only imagine what they're going through. So as again, I can track my roots to Nigeria. Reef, he can track his roots to Ghana. And we have a culture and identity that we can track our roots to. The African American, those devils cut it off. Because the devils, because of their wanting to maintain white supremacy and wanting to maintain control, they ensured that we were going to cut off that whole thing from people. Hence why I say to myself that I'm reading Malcolm X now. I've just, began the whole autobiography of Malcolm X. What a brilliant thing he did. My name is Malcolm X. X, because that last name is a slave's name. That last name is it's a element of control. Denzel Washington. Washington is a slave name. Kerry Washington. Washington is a slave name. Samuel Jackson. L. Jackson. Jackson is a slave name. So what Malcolm did was like, no. I don't know my real name because the real name I was given, that's a slave name. So it's X because it's unknown. And which is why, even as I was reading the Malcolm X book, I said to myself, I know what, I think every African American, it should be Denzel X, Forrest X, Samuel L. X, until you can find out where your roots are from. And if you find out where your roots are from, then go to that village, as I think Forrest Whitaker did, Danny Glover did. They went to a village where they're from, and then they were then given a name from the village chiefs and the people that were there, because that name that you have is a slave name. It's a slave name of the game. That's why, again, obviously people don't know my real name. But when I was, I went by a Christian name, which is what we're given, a Christian name that I was given through school. But then I then said to myself, because remember, I met a Ghanaian friend of mine at uni. And my Ghanaian friend, he just even put the identity by me and said, yo, bro, you know that's a slave name. I was like, But I said to myself, why do I have an anglicized name? So, and from that point on, so since kind of uni and after uni, people only know me by my Nigerian name, not my Christian name in school. So I now have I say, look, no, this is my Nigerian name. Why do I have an anglicized name? Why? for what reason? And again, this is the point that Reef is saying is self-identity. And you're so right, because I get where African Americans are from. They do have a low self-esteem. It's masked in the bravado, the chains and everything, but deep down in the subconscious, they are still suffering from the sickness of all of those slaves. Guys, it's 400 years. 400 years is a long time. 400 years is a long time. And I think what those kind of devils did was, we have to psychologically imprison these dudes. We have to psychologically imprison these dudes, so these dudes will always be subservient psychologically. The greatest, killing someone, yeah, they're dead, so what? The greatest form of control is psychological, mental. That's why women are so powerful. Women are so powerful because of the kind of psychological power they can have over men. Says H, look up Tony Martin. All right. I don't know who the heck this dude is. Tony Martin.
But yeah, H, you were saying that go back to Africa, or you can go back, but not everybody's not as easy as people try to make out. Oh, just go back to Africa, just go back to the Caribbean. Like you said, where will you go? And some people, they just can't up and go. They've been in America, they've been in England for 3, 4, 5 generations, and then all of a sudden you want them to go to the Caribbean or go to Africa.
And I think that's why I wanted to do this talk. So, I don't know what is it. Abel, who is Tony Martin? Please tell me who Tony Martin is, because all I'm saying is just a farmer. So is it Tony Martin the farmer? I don't know. So please tell me who he is. See, no, you're right. See, this is why I wanted to have this conversation. It is difficult. Who am I to tell an African American, hey man, go back to Africa? Bro, I've never been there in my entire life. And the culture there is very different it's pretty different from the African American culture, really, because all I know is New York. All I know is LA. All I know is the Bay Area. That is all I know. All I know is West Virginia, and West Virginia isn't the same as Lagos or Accra or Nairobi. Those are very different kinds of places. Yeah, we have similars because we did come from African culture, but there has been a lot of change. So it then becomes very much difficult as to what is then the solution, because my thing is, for the African American, you will never achieve what you want to achieve within the American system. It's not going to happen because the system will not allow it. They will use you and use all your talents, but they will never give you the proper respect. All they want to do is just use you for what your talents are, because they will always appreciate your talents. But then you say to yourself that, okay, now create your own. Well, if you're to create your own, I believe you do need Africa, and you need a thing with Africa. And what you have been seeing, because I think I saw Ludacris. He was so Ludacris, his wife is from Gabon, so he and the whole of his family now have Gabonese citizenship. And I think you're slowly seeing a lot of guys, go to Africa and trying to sort of build bridges and so forth. But my thing, the reef, is that who knows what the future holds? Who knows what the future holds, and who knows where Africa will be and how Africa will sort of build itself up in the future. That's the thing. Sorry, Professor. Okay, so let me look at Professor Tony Martin. Because maybe Africa will be in a situation where, oh wow, things can happen. All right, let's look at this dude.
Because you've got David there in the comment saying holiday and go on holiday in Africa and build yourself up. But the thing with holidaying is very, very different to actually living in a country. Holiday, you're there, you have fun, you get shown the real good side of a country, and then you sort of come back to the West. But living somewhere, I don't think it's as straightforward as just taking a few holidays and then thinking that you're going to be ready to go and live there and work.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's a particular long process, man. You can't just hop in them like, hey, I'm back in there. It's a long process. So hopefully you guys can wait. All right. All right, let's just see. So among the subjects Martin pursued was the place of Jews in the Atlantic slave trade. During the 90s, he became under public criticism for encouraging his students to read The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, a book compiled by the Nation of Islam that was widely regarded as anti-Semitic. That decade, he also entered a politicized argument with classic scholar Mary Lefkowitz, a prominent critic of historical claims made by Afrocentric scholarship. Martin subsequently took Lefkowitz to court for libel, but the case was dismissed. In 2002, he spoke at a conference organized by a leading Holocaust denial organization, the Institute of Historical Review, alleging that Jewish organizations were trying to stifle free speech. Oh wow! So I think this guy may be quite a controversial dude, man. But look, man, it's like this, man. So back to this whole thing, man. Is oh yeah, I did it. So but even Miranda, so who was he specifically? Miranda, if you just give me a sum of who he was specifically, then I think that will help, because that's a lot of text for us to really go through. So if you tell us what he was, because it looks like his big thing was he was trying to pretty much go against the Jews. And look, the whole Jewish thing and anti-Semitism thing, that is a whole huge wide topic over there. That's a huge wide topic, because I have been sort of racially profiled and everything by Jewish people in the area that I live in. So that's a whole different ballgame. But back to this whole thing is, so Reef, let me ask you this then. Do you believe that Black people can build a system of their own?
Within the West, definitely, it's a no from me. No.
Then how then? So if not in the West, so they can't build it in the West. So then where can it be built? It has to then be built in Africa?
Look, I'm sure off the Caribbean or somewhere in somewhere in the world, there's an island where the people like P. Diddy or LeBron or all these celebrities with their millions or whatever can buy an island and build the island the way they want and govern it the way they want. So it'd be basically like in America, not in America, basically.
Okay. Actually, there's an interesting one here. So I'll take racism in England over the corruption of Africa any day, but that's just me. You see, for me, look,
that's a good point. Some people are happy to take that because the
no. You see, let me tell you from my point of view.
Electricity is working, bread in Tesco,
Look, I speak for myself in Nigeria, because obviously I hear that things in your country, Ghana, are good. Hence, when many Nigerians are even hopping over to build houses in Ghana and everything. But speaking of just Nigeria specifically, yeah, Nigeria is a mess. And the reason why my parents pushed me to go to England was get yourself an education and everything, because things in Nigeria structurally are not really there. But for me, like, I am here to make money. England isn't my home. It isn't my home. Like, it will never be my home, because I think England has made itself very clear that you will never fully be welcome here. Really, you might be, but you'll never really be welcome here. So it isn't a case of there's no way I will take racism over thinking of corruption. My thing is, like, my long-term goal is to try and build something in Nigeria and trying to build things and help things in Nigeria, which is going to be a long process, because to do this, you need money and you need capital, which is what I've been working on for all these years. But I think anybody who is happy and content with the racism in England because they don't have to deal with corruption in Africa, I think you're very seriously confused. Now, you can say that, okay, this is the lesser of two evils you can deal with, but there shouldn't be anything of you will take, you will prefer. Nah, it's just a case of like, this is just what I have to work with. So for me right now, I can't do the business I have. I cannot do it in Nigeria. I can only do it in England, because in England, things work, things operate well, things are in a far more workman-like way, as opposed to how things are in Nigeria, where it is difficult to get anything done. So in England, this is about work. But in Nigeria, that's the family, that's the food, those are the people, that's the culture, and so forth. And that's the culture that I grew up with. That is how I talk, that's how I speak, and everything is Nigeria. So England will always be like, this is just where I get the money and cash. Yeah, I was born here, but I've never really felt that this is home. Well, what about you, Rick? How do you balance the two of Ghana and here?
Well, I was just going to stop you on a point you made about, it's just eluded me now, but the lesser of two evils, the point you made there on the lesser of two evils, that's the thing with Black people. They sort of always force them in a corner of, oh yes, you must vote for the lesser of this, or you must do this because of that, instead of sort of telling Black people, yeah, vote for this and we'll do this for you. This is why it's always, oh, vote for Biden so Trump doesn't do this. Why don't you give us things that we want to vote that will help us, that will make us want to vote? Not, oh, we have to stop this or you have to do this. It's the lesser of two evils.
And that's just the kind of unfortunate thing, because it's like, even now, this whole Biden Trump thing, you're having people say, forget about what Biden's politics are, just don't vote for Trump. You know, so you're not voting for someone that you want, you're just voting for someone who isn't Trump and who can beat Trump. And that's a pretty crappy position to be in, you know, because where Democrats don't even have to try. They don't even have to try. They don't even have to put in any efforts to gain your votes, which is sad. So search for Israel Cohen quotes. So what was this? Israel Cohen. Okay, let's see the Israel. Oh, Israel Cohen, a Zionist. Oh wow. Okay, so is this the one we're not going? Oh shit. A racial program from the 20th century. First again, we must realize that our party's most powerful weapon is racial tensions. By propounding onto the questions of the dark races that for centuries they have been oppressed by whites, we can mold them to the program of the Communist Party. In America, we will aim to subtle victory, while inflaming the Negro minority against the whites. We'll endeavor to instill in the whites a guilt complex for the exploitation of the Negroes. We will aid the Negroes to rise in prominence in every walk of life, in the professions and the world of sports. Oh my God. With this prestige, the Negro will be able to intermarry with the whites and begin a process which will deliver America to our cause. Interesting. But, and you see, Reef, this is why I say to people that it is a lot bigger than you think. You know how people say, oh my gosh, racism, I mean, what's the big deal? Like a clown on Twitter said, racism is just in your mind. If you just ignore it, it won't bother you. It will just go away. You know? And people just think, oh no, racism, man, it's just a whole myth. And as you said before, Reef, people don't do their research. Like, as this guy, I'm sure for this Israel Cohen guy, this is carefully planned. Like, people who created this supremacy, they weren't stupid bricks and idiots. They weren't morons. These were intellectuals. These were scholars who, like, no, we have to create a specific system because it's about maintaining, keyword, maintaining superiority. And it was a resounding success, because we're still seeing the successes of that system now. Because Black people still believe that they're lesser. That's why we have colorism. People want to lighten their skin. You know, we could even get to the whole thing of like, do you marry a white woman because of love? Or is it because it's a sign of success that you've married into white beauty? You know, I don't know whether they want to go there. You know, I don't want to go there and everything. You know, but it is very deep. It is very deep. So people saying, like, you know, when you go to protest, say, "Oh no, racism is bad. Racism is wrong. We hate racism." Like, again, as I said again, Ava DuVernay, I mentioned before, she was saying that racism is me calling you, yo nigga, man, you black bastard. Yeah, that's just a racist insult. Racism is a system. Racism is a system. Let's have a look this up. Wait, racism,
and then look up racist afterwards. Exactly.
Okay. Sorry. So racism is. Wait, let me. All right. Racism, prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. I like this. That one's own race is superior. I remember we talked about before. What was it called? Privilege and supremacy, superiority. The superiority complex. Believe that all members of each. Okay, no, I think there's something. So, what was the other one that you want me to look up?
Racist, didn't it? Racist.
Oh, it said racist.
Yeah, racist.
A person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against people of other races, or who believes that a particular race is superior to another. So, again, the key word there is superiority. That is the key word there. It is superiority. And the key thing is that for white people, there are white people who consciously feel this superiority. This is the key. This is the key. For white racists, they feel the superiority consciously. Like, no, I'm better than you, black this, black that, blah, blah, go home like that. But then there are other white people, and this is where it gets deep. This is where it gets deep. But then there are all white people who they don't think about it consciously. They think that they love everyone. Yo, man, I love black people. Yo, what up? But it's subliminal. You just naturally feel I'm better than this black dude because I'm white. Because of how I've grown up, media, how the world has been presented, I am just naturally better than this dude. So me even being your friend or complimenting you, I'm doing you a favor. It's like a dog. You're like, hey, Timmy, how you doing, Timmy? Hi, Timmy. You think I'm going to give that dog rights? You think that dog has equal rights? Reef, you want me to be deep? There are dogs treated better than black people. Reef, do you want me to go even deeper? There are people who feel more sorrow with a dog being harmed than some unknown black dude being harmed. Keep it a stack. Keep it real. It's like,
and that's the truth, definitely.
No, it's the truth. So you can be racist to white people. No, you can't. How? The key word is superior. How can a black guy be superior to a white guy when this is a white man's world? How? Like we just read here. Superior. In what sense in this world is the black man superior to the white man when this is the white man's world? He rules this world. He's the king of this world. He created this world. Through the empires and so forth, they created this world. How do me and Reef speak English? We speak English because of white superiority. That's why me and Reef speak English, because whites took over Ghana and Nigeria, and they taught those people English. That has now been passed on. So a black guy can't be racist to a white person because a black man has no superiority over a white man. They don't. So people saying, "Oh man, reverse racism. You're a complete clown." You're a complete clown, man. So
down to knowledge and understanding. So, like they say when you're at uni or you're doing your masters or whatever, before you speak, you must read, you must understand. Then you're sort of in a better position to then speak.
And I think that for a lot of people, I don't think that for a lot of people, they don't really do any kind of research. They don't do any kind of research or studying.
Ultimately, get black people because they know black people work off emotion, and they know they can poke black people to get a reaction out of them.
You see, Reef, you're now coming to the key points, man. Reef, you're coming to the key point. We're coming to the key point. Reaction. Do you know what annoys me about black people is, do you enjoy being pissed off? Do you enjoy being angered? Do you enjoy being triggered? Like so many times there are people that keep tagging me in these racial things and so forth. I'm like, why? Like, are you just online just looking for any racial instances? Look at this. Yeah, I get it. Racism exists. Now, what are you going to do about it? Don't just give me isolated incidents. Tell me what your big picture is. Because just being angry isn't going to get you anywhere. And certain white people will feed off your anger and feed off your emotions. Because they're like, let me just trigger him. Let me just trigger him. It's like before in school, anytime someone said nigger or anything, I'll just react and start fighting. Now I'm like, okay, you call me nigger. Okay, all right. So, because I'm not going to react because I know that's what you want. So I'm going to be like, okay, yeah, okay, what's your issue? What's your problem here? Because I don't have time to waste time. That's the thing. I don't have time to waste time. So
the whole trigger thing has worked now because the whole thing is now moved to race, and nobody's talking about COVID. Nobody's talking about Dominic Cummings, Boris Johnson, the mayor. It's all shifted towards race.
And again, this is what I was saying on the discussion yesterday, that the media is so powerful and people are such sheep because the media can easily control the narrative. Because, as I said again, look, see, let's take England for example, because we obviously, well, I live in Mars, but I sometimes I hop between Mars and England. So let's take England for example. So you're going to protest against racism in England. Do you know what England is? Do you know what England? Do you know who the Queen is? Like, the Queen and royal family is the epitome of whiteness. They are the epitome of white superiority. They're actually German, by the way. They're not even fully English. They're actually German. But they are the epitome of white superiority. Where England would rather die. They'd rather die in hell than give up that white superiority. Because I know the Englishman very well. I know the Englishman very, very well. These guys are the most stubborn, the most they will die with their beliefs. They'll never change their beliefs. So you trying to change the status quo in England? Because let's look at England. It is the most classist country in the world. They pride themselves on pissing on the poor, and they pride themselves and say, no, the royal family are just better than you because they were born. Me being rich and posh, I'm better than you just because I was born. You being poor, you're useless and you're worthless. It's what it's about. Like it is what the stuff is about. So Reef, I just find it amusing when you're seeing people protesting, against. You think you're going to change anything? I mean, Reef, let me ask you: do you think anything racially will change in England with regards to the status quo and how things operate in England?
Look, if you was white as a human being, if you would put yourself in a white person's shoes, you're probably going to say to yourself, "What is my first thought? It's self-preservation. I'm going to preserve me and my own, and then the others. Well, if we can help them, then we can help them. But the priority is me and my own."
You see, this is funny. I mean, look at this. I thought racism was over.
Racism isn't going anywhere.
You see, this is just why there are people that literally believe that racism had like a sell-by date, like from 1546 to 2008 or 1546 to 2000 to 2019. The people that thought, hey, no, racism, it's finished. So damn it, it's still here. No, you know what? Give it 5 more years, then it'll be gone. Give it 5 more years, it'll be gone. It's like Flash, racism will never leave. Because racism is needed to keep the system intact. And I think this was a great point that Reef made to me in the conversations that we had, is that the system can't work without a loser. There has to be a loser. Without a loser, the system can't work.
I think, again, go on Google, and if you can type in maybe the capitalist pyramid or capitalist hierarchy, clearly shows you how it works. It's right in front of your eyes. Someone has to lose for those at the top to really enjoy.
Ah, beautiful. Oh, this is a great picture. Let me get this in there. All right. Oops. Sorry. Let me open image in new tab. Oh, damn it. Wait. This is a great photo. If I could just. All right, wait. Let me get this more. No, tools, size, large. Because I think, yeah, this is one that I think they used to show it to us in school like ages ago. Okay, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to do this share screen, Chrome tab. There we go. Let me just. Ah, this is great. We feed all. We feed all. We work for all. We eat for you. We shout. We shoot at you. We fool you. We rule you. That is amazing. That is amazing. Beautiful. Beautiful. The system.
I think once you understand that, you will sleep at night. Once you see where you are at night.
You basically sleep like, yes, you sleep like a baby.
You won't fool yourself about this idea, this world that doesn't exist. Again, going back to what I was saying about reality.
Reality. Oh God, man. Let's just study. I love reality too much. That's why I told you. My name was called HR. I have reality. We work for all. These are the workers. And the key thing here, look at them. They're holding it up. They're holding up the thingy. We feed all. We work for all. We work for all. We feed all. These are the goods, the guys that just eat. We eat food. So these are the rich dudes, the rich, wealthy dudes, the middle to upper class. Middle upper class. Everyone has to have an army. Look at what Trump is doing. The army is power. The army maintains power. Whoever the army has maintains power. Hence why the only way that you can overthrow a president is if the army goes against him. So what I said before, we shoot at you. Nouveau Fillon. Nouveau Trompon. We fool you. This is the media. This is the media. This is the media. This is the news. This is what we talked about yesterday. We fool you. Nouveau Gouvernement. We rule you. And these are the guys that rule. These are the guys that rule. And you know what is so deep? Reef, you know what is so deep? You see those guys these guys at the bottom? They want to be at the top. Because what is supposed to happen in a utopian world is these guys at the bottom, when they come at top, they break this cycle, and this becomes like flat.
Yeah,
that's the utopia. But do you know what happens? If once these guys go on top, they do the exact same thing, and they're worse. They are worse. Because they remember how they were treated, and they're like, you know what? We're going to be even worse than what, because they want. In a sick way, as much as they hate how the kings treat them, in a sick way, they like it. Because like, man, if I'm there, it's going to be so good. So the cycle will always be repeated. The cycle will always be repeated, man. The cycle will always be repeated. Amazing. Wait, sorry, go.
No, I said power corrupts, isn't it? We've heard it all before. Power corrupts.
It's power corrupts all. Power corrupts all. Power corrupts all, man. Power corrupts all. Sorry?
No, going back on that point, way back on is it on the racism in Ghana? What was said about Ghana and Nigeria? It's better to stay in England than to be in Nigeria or in a racist. You have to look at all sides of the coin. You have to look at your own situation. What works for you might not work for someone else. So sometimes this one fit all policy doesn't necessarily apply to you.
No, I mean, look, my thing is, there are people who, I'll take my aunt for instance. My auntie, born in Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria and so forth. She had my cousin, the older one, in Nigeria. Then one time, her house got robbed in Nigeria. And she said to my uncle, "We're done. We're out." She said, "Nope, we're out. I can't do this." And if you meet my aunt, she is Nigerian to the core. Yeah, she can do the whole English accent, but she is Nigerian to the core. But she was like, "You know what? I'm done." So they first moved to Taunton. Then from Taunton, they're now in Jersey. And literally, she only goes back to Nigeria if she has to. And that's her. That works for her. That works for my cousins and uncle and everything. And that's just it. So for her situation, as somebody who was fully Nigerian and so forth, just for her situation, I don't feel comfortable growing up and bringing up my family in Nigeria with the way that it is operated. And that's just it. But my uncle, he has said to himself that, yes, I know I am based in Atlanta and in America, but I'll back and forth. Like a phone. I must, like he's already bought a house in Nigeria and everything. I must have a link with Nigeria. Like, yeah, even what's it called? The Christmas last year, I think it was last Christmas. My uncle brought my little cousins to Nigeria for the first time. And I think they even enjoyed it. So it's what's it called? Saying, different strokes for different folks. Different strokes for different folks. So see, if racism will never die, should we be angered by it? What's your answer? If racism will never die, should we be angered by it? Reef.
I thought you was gonna go ahead there.
No. It's you. No. I'm swinging it to you, bro.
Anger is a strong word. I don't think you can. There's a point. Obviously, you're going to be angry. It's a natural human emotion. You're going to be angered, but how long are you going to be? How much energy is that going to draw away from you before you just have to say to yourself, "You know what? Someone's got an issue based on the color of my skin. That isn't my problem. That's their problem, and you've got to keep it moving and keep what you're doing, basically."
No, you see, my anger was in school when I was a teenager. So anytime there's anything racist, I just got into a fight. And it's angered me, and I think it has definitely formed my viewpoints and everything based on just the kind of racial abuse that I received in school. But growing up, getting older, wiser, more experienced, it doesn't anger me. It's the reality. So you have to hear it doesn't anger me, but I'll never accept it. Hence why we say I have a zero tolerance for racism, absolute zero tolerance for racism. So, but I have better things to focus on and worry about. And I think being angered by it will just slow me down. So, but my thing is that if you're racist or anything, get the fuck out of my face. I don't want anything to do with you. I've got a zero tolerance for racists. Racists for me are amongst the worst pieces of scum in the world. So fuck you. But those are for the racist. So my thing about it is that it's just about calling it out and just telling people how it is. And what I've realized is it's the real world. You're not getting rid of racism. It's about how do you now figure out how to live in a world where racism will always exist. That's what it's about. You trying to see all the stuff that I see on Instagram, like all lives matter, black people, like that stupid video about this black kid running towards this white kid and we're all together. That's a pipe dream. That's not reality. And people say, "Oh, how sweet! Oh, how beautiful! Let's all get together." No, that's a pipe dream. Racism is a human sickness. It's a human disease that will never leave. Like as my homeboy Machiavelli said, the writer, man is fickle by nature. Man is fickle by nature. Human beings at their core, we have a sickness, and we will destroy ourselves. Eventually, we'll destroy ourselves. I don't know how, but eventually we will destroy ourselves. Like because we are obsessed with war, we are obsessed with conflict, and it is just there are it is there is a way you think when you're young, and there's a way you think when you're old. So when I was just looking at all those guys in the process, I just looked at all these young faces, all these young people full of energy. These are guys in their 20s, in their late teens, full of energy. I was like, great, man, you're good out there. And in my mind, Reef, I'm like, this is like my dream, man, in a movie. This is the young generation, the new generation. These are the people that will break the cycle. And in like 30, 40 years' time, we wouldn't see any racism. You know what I always say? I said that let's say I get in a time machine. And like I get into this time machine and I go forward like 200 years into the future, like 200, 300 years into the future. And I get there and it's like, we have everything is crazy. Technology fully in there. We don't need petrol. We don't need cars. We don't need any of these kinds of things. We need money. We don't need cash. We don't even need bank cards. Everything is done through our eye. There's virtual reality and everything. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. And then I just hear someone say, yo, nigga, get off the streets. Wow. And then I'm reminded that no, nothing still has changed. You know? So it's like, yeah, go on.
Or I know this isn't the football hub, but you could take it back to the Chelsea football team, the John Terry saga, where you've got the African players that basically didn't get involved, and you had the English black players got involved. So you know, there's two sides of it. They're not angered by it. They're saying, "Listen, I'm here to play football and get this check and keep it moving." And other players in there said, "You know what? This isn't right, and we're going to talk."
I mean, it's like, that whole John Terry situation was crazy. It was crazy, and I always say that, you know, for black people, like there are always the two roads. You know, you can either take the road of oh fuck this, you know, I'm gonna call this out. Anytime I'm gonna call out, I'm on it. Every single time. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa, I'm here, I'm there. And there's another road where it's like, man, I just wanna have fun. I wanna live my life. I just say, I wanna get this check. I wanna get this money, build my family up, build my life up, and let's just ride, man. So that's
Look, you got like Didier Drogba. He took the money. He built a hospital in his country. He did a lot of things for his people back home. But for him, he's like, racism's here, but let me get the check and let me help build my people up back home.
You see, that's the thing, because now you're like, what is the real fight? What is the real goal? Are you trying to fight for racism, racial equality, stand up and everything? You will lose that fight. Or it's about, who do I really want to help? Who do I really want to build up? You really should want to build up your country. As I said, like my long-term dream is I can make enough money to build schools and particular places in Nigeria. That has always been my long-term goal, like to build specific places for football academies, film academies in Nigeria, for young people and so forth. That has always been what I wanted to really do. So you have to choose your battles, Reef. And I think when we get older, we get wiser. You see, a clever man wants to fight every battle, and a clever man wants to believe he can win every battle. A wise man chooses the battle because a wise man knows that this is a battle that I can't win. So I'm not going to even waste my time engaging in that battle. But this is a battle that I know that I can win and can help me go forward. So Ibn Miranda says that type, who do you think controls the press? Hello? Where's it? What is this? Okay, who do you think?
I think they're saying type what they've written. So type that into Google. Maybe I think that's what they're saying.
Okay, so I should type, who do you think controls the press?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oops, sorry. Yeah, Elon Musk is wild. Isn't it the guy with the whole SpaceX thing? What? What's this? All right. Who do you think owns the press? Hello? What's his? Who owns the press? Hello? Oh, so this is what Elon Musk pointed out. Yeah, Elon Musk is a bit of a weird one, man. Oh, so he did this in May 2018. Who do you think owns the press? Hello. Yeah, no, look. I mean, are you one of those? Oh, on images. All right. Sorry, let me go back. Let me go back. Who do you think controls the press? So what is this? Wow, this is so. What is this supposed? I mean, what am I supposed to be finding here? I don't really know what I'm supposed to be finding here. So this guy says, "You're very smart. So I want you to think about this for a second. Do you think it's in the interest of powerful people to A, support a free press that exposes their lies, or B, tear it down so their lies are easier to tell?" And I ask myself, why the polls would look bad? Who do you think owns the press? Interesting. But look, as I said again, look, I mean, scroll down. How the media controls your mind. Oops, sorry. So what am I? So what I'm basically all I'm looking at here is this dude. What's it called? Elon Musk. So what is he trying to imply here then? Oh, so is this it? Basically, tell me which one I'm supposed to be going. If you tell me what I'm trying to find, so you have to tell me what I'm trying to find it because I'm just confused. But look, man, back to this whole thing, man. And you see, my thing here is this, Reef, because we're here for a solution. So you're saying that for Black people because I think for Black people in England and Black people in America, it's they're in different areas. But I won't even talk on John Boyega. What do you? I mean, okay. What is your view on what he did personally with regards to going out there, saying this whole thing out racism, him showing his emotions in Hyde Park? Where do you stand on that specifically, and his role as a Hollywood actor?
I agree with your comments before, saying, listen, it's good what he's doing. He's using his platform to vocalize what others have been saying, but it's too little, too late. How long? When was he first in Star Wars?
I think 2015.
Yeah, he should have started all of that way back then when his platform was being building. He should have, you know.
Do you know it's crazy? That is exactly. It's so weird. I spoke to both of my brothers about that. What he just said is exactly what one of my brothers said. See, my other brother said what he's doing is great. He's a man, and he's really showing up in other guys who haven't spoken, like an Idris Elba or a Will Smith. And then my other brother said, too little, too late. But here's my thing, Rifter. The reason why I say, you know what, I agree with the whole too little, too late. He was young. I think he was in his early 20s when he did the whole Star Wars thing. He wasn't aware. He didn't realize that he was going to be made a coon. You know, he didn't realize that they were going to make him a coon in Star Wars, and we're just going to use him as a boy toy in Star Wars. He didn't realize it. So you have to sort of just say, you know, if you're young, you know, you learn things, you'll grow, and he grew.
The agenda probably then was, let me get out of Peckham. That was what he was on.
So you think that it was about just getting the check, that Disney check?
But well, when you're in Peckham, he's now bought his family a home, and that's the dream. When you're in the ghetto, that is the dream. The dream is for you to get out of the ghetto. What else is there? Get out of the ghetto and live a good life. Buy designers, travel the world, and enjoy yourself.
So, do you think that if you were his agent, I think I even know his agent, do you think that he is making a bad move? Would you advise him? Would you advise against him doing what he's doing right now? So, you know, this is a bad move, or you would encourage him?
Look, long term, it's a bad move. If you want a career that you don't control, then it's a bad move. It's definitely a bad move.
Because he was saying that he doesn't really care. That he is he doesn't really care about his career. Because see I really feel
maybe the money's good.
I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to feel with what he's doing. I don't know. Because again, my brother just said to me that no, you're being cynical. Am I being cynical in questioning it, or what? I don't know.
You don't know. His paper might be long. He might be able to ride it out. His paper might be good, where he don't have to work again.
So then, if his paper is good, then how much is he really risking? Then, because it's like, okay, he may not be papers for many roles, but I can only guess. I can only guess that Disney check is great. But this is why I don't like what we're going into. I don't want this to be a thing of we're hating. Let me be very clear here. I am fully 1000% in support of what John Boyega did. That is the bottom line. What he did is great. It's amazing. And I think as a young voice, he is setting the stage. As well, Will Smith, we're not looking for you now. So what he's doing is great. So actually, my only issue with it, I think he's still taking a risk. He's putting it all on the line. And I am fully behind it because look, my thing is, I know where this is from. Because these guys they insulted him, they completely and absolutely bamboozled him and everything. So he's literally letting out all the rage that he has of the various names and everything that they called him. So I get it. I fully get it. So, but
what you've got to look at is somebody like what's this actress from 12 Years a Slave?
Lupita.
Lupita. Yeah, sorry. Her work's gone down now. The work's gone. Is she getting big roles?
Nope.
There you go. So when you talk, they may give you a few roles after that, but long term, the work dries up.
I mean, but then my thing that is, do you think that we will see a different world based on this? Do you think that we will see a different Hollywood after this? Like where, based on everything that's happened, we're now seeing like a revolution and a renaissance? Or do you think that once this is gone, business as usual?
If you want different, you better just go to Tyler Perry. That's if you want different.
Relax. Like with all the respect,
they want to tell. They don't want you coming there and start saying that you have to tell them to do X, Y's, and Z's.
But my thing though, isn't a case of where people say, you know what, Black Lives Matter, Black people should be given more stuff. Look at all of the different kinds of um, statements that have been made by Disney and so they say, no, 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 no. This is a new world. We must hire more black. It's like what's it called? That dude, Serena Williams's husband, Alex Ohanian, who co-founded Reddit. He said, you know what? I am giving up my Reddit seat, so I'm going to give it up to a black person because this is what I feel that I should be doing. So that's my daughter says, you know what did you do, Daddy? Well, I sort of did something to try and get more black people in power. So don't you think that we could be seeing a whole new brave world and maybe a world that is a lot better?
Like Dr. Boyce Watkins said, he said, listen, you can't build black power on white guilt.
You can't build black power on white guilt. Wait, expand on that.
So while I'm not saying these Disney donations and these donations coming, but basically what you're telling the black man is, or the black person is, that you're a charity case that you can't do for yourself. So here, we'll give you your 5 million or whatever, and shut up.
Oh wow!
So your peers, so look at your peers in film. You've made this really good film, or you've done something really good work, but your white peer now says, "Oh, but you access that blah 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 from that Black Lives Matters fund. Your thing isn't proper."
I mean, because you see, my thing about this is what is it? Yeah. Why is this one? So, do you think that we have made progress? Because it seems as if we've been very, very, maybe a bit too real. So, is it that we've made progress? So do you think that we've made progress, like racially and so forth, towards being together like one big happy family?
Well, the what have the UK given us? They've given us is it the 2010 Diversity Act? Which act is that?
I have no idea.
So if you want to call that progress, then obviously in those terms, there's progress.
Oh, okay. I think I found this thing in there, but wait. Who do you think owns the press? So CBS, ABC, I think that's MSNBC, CNN. Oh yeah, this is it. I knew this. You know, and I think Jewish people. Look, I mean, I think this is something that we've already known. I think there's something we've already known that Jewish people own the press, you know, and they've found their ways into those seats in power. It's key, you know. So no, I mean, like I knew this. I knew this, you know, and I think, you know, even if you speak to Jewish people, like they just know how to get in those seats of power and in those influential places. So these things are all for diversity in TV and games, but it almost becomes embarrassing when you can clearly see corporations pushing for representatives. You know, for me, I've always said is that, you know, it's like it's what we've said to begin with. Black James Bond, Miles Morales. Why is Spider-Man half black, half Latino? That is stupid. Why the hell do I want to see a black James Bond? That's completely stupid. You know, so
just going back on your point on the person that said something about progression, talking about progression, is it?
Yeah.
If you can go to Google, it is the Equality and Diversity Act 2010.
All right.
So can you go there?
All right. Copy. Paste. Equality Act 2010 legislation.gov.uk. What are the main points of the Equality Act? All right, let's just click in. The Equality Act 2010 legally protects people from discrimination in the workplace and in wider society. Hey, It's replaced previous anti-discrimination laws with a single act, making the law easier to understand and strengthening protection in some situations. It sets out the different ways in which it's unlawful to treat someone.
So then
Interesting. So,
and then we go back to what is the reality?
look, man. See, that's the thing here. See, if there's anything you've learned from this hour and a half of me and Reef talking, is reality. You see, reality is, you may not like it, and you will always refuse reality because people will always want to live in a fantasy because fantasy is what it's called. But the problem with reality is that it exists, and reality is the truth.
Do a Google search on reality.
What's the reality definition? I don't know why I find this so funny. Oh gosh, my stomach. Oh, the state of things. Because I'm sorry, I'm okay, look, I mean, the state of things as they actually exist, as opposed to an idealistic. you see, Reef, the issue with the people is that they are stuck here. So my problem is, Reef, how do we get people away from this? How?
Well, definitely invite Sammy back in and to give some views on that.
Yeah, no. As I said, look, Sammy, man. Look, I said, please come onto this whole thing, and then let's have a discussion because I think you have a very alternate point of view. But see, this is wait, Reef, do you know what it is? Age. When I went to that protest, the loudest people, the guys who were walking, the guys with the most energy, maybe 18 to 25. Maybe 18 to 20, 25. And like the older guys, yeah, somewhere in there, but some of the older guys were just out there taking pictures, clapping, and just out there just observing. This is what you have in your youth. It's what I had. This was me in my teen years and in my early 20s. When you get older, this is what's happened. This is what comes upon you. It's sad. It's unfortunate. You may not like it. You will fight against it. But realize that, you can't fight against reality. You can't fight against reality. Racism is reality. It is a necessary evil for this world that the powerful white man built. That's the reality. It's the system. It's the system. It's reality. It's real. So all you can do is build something for yourself. Build something that works for yourself.
Because
please feel free to fight. It's a free world. Feel free to fight. Feel free to fight. I don't know how much it's going to help you, man.
Because
okay. Google progression. Oh God, progression. Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, Google progression.
Progress. Well, I actually said progression, by the way. So progression. The process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced state. The process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced. See, this is the thing here. Advanced state. You could argue where we were in the 1800s to where we are now is progress, because we are in an. So here, let me break it down. We will always make progress in certain areas. We have the internet. We didn't have the internet in the 1800s. We didn't have the process of exchanging money and exchanging funds as we have now. We didn't have the kind of access to media. We didn't have streaming back in the 1800s. So in that point, yes, we are in a more advanced state. But with regards to society, the church, institutions, how governments work, how leaders work, corruption within leaders, people who control those leaders, people who watch those watchers, and racism, those don't advance, they evolve. So that's the key thing there. Particular parts of society advance. In 100 years' time, I can only show to believe what kind of technology guys will have in 100 years' time, when obviously, unfortunately, we will all be long and gone. But that's the thing. But then that is advancing. But then evolution is government. But that's the thing. I told you, read Machiavelli, the Prince. Read Machiavelli, the Prince. Governments don't really even evolve. They still operate the same way that they've operated for hundreds of years. Like,
so if you know that information, why do you think anything's going to change, or are you going to make anything different?
That's the thing. So do you think that we are being cynical? That based on how we have viewed this and broken this down, we are being cynical with this? Because some may say, oh man, you always want to look at the negative side. You don't want to look at how we've advanced, how we've gotten better, and everything. So do you think that we're being cynical?
Well, again, just going back to reality, people of mixed heritage, white, black, or whatever. A lot of mixed race people in this past week have now woken up to the fact that they're black.
Have they really?
I've seen guys on social media now realize that, hey, these white people are telling me I'm black.
No, because I was speaking to this mixed race girl, and she was really about it. I'm like, I've got to educate these people about racism and all that kind of stuff. Because it's all about education. It's about really, telling them that this stuff is wrong. That I'm tired of all this stuff. I'm like, what? I mean, what are you going to change? Well, I mean, what are you going to change really? You're not going to change anything. Educate who? How? How are you going to educate them? How are you going to educate them? Like, through what? But look, the thing here is this: is that look, of course, progress has been made. Of course, progress has definitely been made. 100%. You can never deny that progress has been made. But there are certain things, and this is what you need to understand about society, but also human beings. There are certain things that can never change within human society. And there are certain things that are just a constant. Not everything changes. Not everything progresses. Some things change. Some things within society change. There's certain things that just keep on maintaining. There's certain things that just keep on maintaining. They keep on maintaining, man. So once you accept that, then that's how it is, man. Um, yeah. So what H is saying that the ones in power, the oppressors, those that rule the world and shadow. Yeah, man. Because always that the president isn't the true leader. No. There is someone who tells the president what to do. The president doesn't have carte blanche, really. The real rulers are the guys that control the world. Those are the guys that control the banks. Those are the guys that really control the flow of money. That's the key thing. The guys that control the banks and the flow of money, those are the guys that control things. This system.
And I think that's where you just hit the nail on the head. Black people, as much as they say racism and it does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. It does. The basic bottom line is money. That's all it is. It's just about money.
Yeah, I mean, the people who control the flow of money, that is. Wait. What did Joshua say? Tell me what he said. I don't know what he said. Tell me what Anthony Joshua said. Scrap. The people who control the money, they control the world. Because again, this world, how you operate is based off money. That's how you make things happen. People respect you because of money. A woman goes out with you because you have money. You are able to make things happen because you have money. Money is that's just how we are as human beings. That is the language of this world is cash and it's money. So
when people go to Bond Street and they say, "Oh, that security guys," they are racist. I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but as soon as you start spending money and spending money regularly, it becomes a whole different thing. Oh, they treat me so nice at Louis Vuitton. Oh, they make me sit down and give me champagne and blah, blah, blah. When you spend money, you'll see how things are different.
No. It goes back to a whole thing of you have to live in reality. You have to live in reality and you have to live and operate with. And I think this is always this like if there's any advice that me and Reef can give to you guys out there, especially you young guys out there, is as quickly as you can, figure out how the world works and realize there are things you can change and there are things you can't change. That is the key thing to take away from this. There are things you can change and there are things you can't change. You must realize what you can't change. You cannot change everything. You can't. You cannot.
But what
so realize what you can change and what you can't change, and then that is how you can actually progress and move forward. But so it's okay. So what do you think about it? Because I remember
sorry, stop you there. In terms of change, what you can change is yourself. You start with yourself.
Yes. But you know what? Within yourself, sometimes you need to just live. It's very hard for a 20-year-old just to change their outlook. They need to live. They need to live life.
I'll give it being a black male. If you're a young black male and you was from the ghetto or from the roads or whatever you want to call it, you have to change yourself, not to take the bait, not to fall into the traps that is put there for you. You have to say to yourself, listen, that looks like a trap. Let me not do what they think I'm going to do and do a complete opposite. That's how you're going to change the way others view you as an individual.
No. Yeah, I mean, it's about not having that sheepish mentality. Assessing what's going on. Key thing, assessing. People don't take a step back and say, okay, what exactly is happening? Assessing what is happening, and then you can then progress. So what do you think about this thing? Jordan said that Jordan committed 100 million to fighting racial equality and so forth. What do you think of that gesture by MJ?
Well, obviously it's excellent, it's fantastic, and
So it's a lot of cash.
yeah, it's, but those organizations he's donated to, what is their agenda? What are they going to do with that 100 million? Are they just going to share everything among themselves? Al Sharpton and those sort of characters come in, do 1 or 2 speeches, collect their share, and it's back to business as normal. Well, yeah.
Which is why I'm always very wary with giving money to charities. That's why I'm always very iffy about. Okay, I'm just giving money to me. What is this? Remember, this charity is an organization and it's an institution. Why should you just wantonly just give money to a thing? It's like for me, I was like, no, you do the work yourself.
No, but Jordan's
because who are you giving that money to?
Jordan has freed himself from that responsibility. The black community now can't tell Jordan, you stayed silent, you've done that. He said, I've given you 100 million, go away and shut up, leave me alone now.
Yeah, that's the thing. All right, let me see what's okay. So if you victimize yourself all the time and call it reality, then your mind will never be free. You can't change everything, but you can challenge everything. What do you think? What do you think about this words then, Reef? You victimize yourself all the time.
Right, that's a wordy statement. We have to break that down.
Sorry, what's that?
I said it's quite wordy. It's wordy. You have to really break that down.
Yeah, so basically, so if you victimize yourself all the time and call it reality, then your mind will never be free. I've got a response to that.
Yeah, so victimize in which way? In what way?
Because you see, my thing about it is that reality is something that's just objective. There's nothing about victimization saying, no, this is just how the world works. Keep it moving. Now, victimization is that, oh no, woe is me. Oh my gosh, I'm so bad. So victimizing is sort of you're crying. You're crying for help. So, oh, this is so bad. For me, I'm like, it's how the world works. Blacks are at the bottom. Okay, now let me now operate and now work. Okay, this is how it is. Let me now work. There's nothing victimization about that. It's accepting what is and how this world works. Then you keep it moving. So you say you can't change everything, but you can challenge everything. Oh no, it's true. And that is why anytime there's anything raised and everything, I tell people where I stand. And I challenge people like, okay, where do you now stand on this situation? But the key thing here is, trust me, I am not a victim. I do not have a victim's mentality. Hence why I made the point of whenever people keep tagging me with these isolated racist incidents, I'm like, why do you want to just go on social media just to get annoyed? And whenever I see people, oh man, look at what this white people, look at what this Karen did. Look, I'm like, I hardly watch any of these racial videos that I keep seeing pop up on my TikTok. I'm like, I can't be annoyed all the time. I already deal with so much psychologically and mentally for myself. This is already difficult operating just life by yourself. Exactly. Life is already difficult as a human being. Now, being a black guy in a world like this is even much more difficult. That I don't need it to make it even harder for myself. I'm like, so being a victim, that just holds you down. That just holds you down. So nah. It's just about this is how the world works. Because once you understand how the world works, it makes life easier. Not easy, easier than if you're trying to live or trying to achieve a utopia. Right, Reef.
So Sammy, how are you going to spend all of your days challenging there's not enough hours in the day challenging everything. You can't challenge everything.
You can't. I mean, it's like
you'd be there. You wouldn't eat. You wouldn't do anything if you were.
Look, I said again. Look, because look. By the way, Reef, your Ghanaian boys, people are damn good. Because I went to this African store because it's run by this Ghanaian guy, and because I ate some gari today, and there's this. I will WhatsApp you the bread. This is a really nice sweet bread. This thing is amazing. Seriously, man, you Ghanaian guys, you you're not as good as us Nigerians, by the way, but you guys know how to make some good food, man. I said, good look, I'm a simple man. I just eat my gari, I take my jollof, have my pounded yam. All right, and I just because again, choose your battles. That's the key thing
But Sammy's now saying something else. He says, "I don't need to challenge all the time because of progression."
I mean, but as I say to people, like, is choose your battles. Choose your battles. That's the key thing. Choose your battles. If you choose your battles, that's the best thing, man. Should we say?
Why do you need to reference Jay-Z, MJ, Oprah, not being at the bottom?
These are anomalies, man. And look, I have my views on Oprah, by the way, because again, I mean, she's done specific things, and MJ tried to be white. So, I mean, let's just keep it a stack. Let's just keep it a stack.
Premises gave them their positions. That's what it is.
It's true. Who gives them their platform? Was it black people, or was it the system that gave them their platform? Because Jay-Z and people, they're only there because the system allows them to be there. The system allows them to be there. All right. So that's what if mass migration of Latinos in the US takes low-skilled jobs from Black community, why is it taboo for Black Americans to ally with Republicans on the wall? You can't fix racism, fix your economy. But sometimes are they mutually exclusive? Racism and economy? That's all what I ask you. Is economic inequality and racism, are they mutually exclusive? I think those guys go hand in hand, man. So but yeah, I think just to go back to the whole thing, like it's, of course, progress is being made, and I think because even with Mo, because I think Mo is always good, because I know Mo always tries to bring like a nice alternative balance to the whole thing, because Mo always reminds me that progress has been made, good things have been done. This thing takes time. So I am not here being this pessimistic, woe is me kind of thing and so forth. And of course, progress will always be made. And look, I am so glad I live in 2020 as opposed to 1970 or 1960. Okay, because things were a lot worse in 1960, 1970 as opposed to 2020. Things weren't so bad in 1995, and the 90s were actually pretty good. So that's just pretty much where you go, man. Actually, this is interesting. You can't fix bigotry. You can fix systematic racism.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that really interesting comment.
What are your thoughts on that?
George, please expand on that. Please expand on.
Yeah, because you can't fix bigotry. Because for me, first of all, I don't know whether you can't fix systematic racism, because it's a system. Hence why I said that you can't fix it. You either have to break it, destroy it, or build something new. You can't fix it. That's my thing. You cannot fix it. You have two options. You either destroy it, dismantle it, and build something new, or leave it as it is and create something separate. Those are your only two options. You cannot fix it. You can't. And bigotry. Systematic bigotry is a byproduct of systematic racism. So those two go hand in hand. So bigotry are like the symptoms, the results, the effects of systematic racism. That is one of its byproducts. So it's hard to because if you fix bigotry, then you then fix systematic racism, because that's how they are bred. As long as systematic racism exists, you have bigotry. I mean, like, Reef, how do you view that? Your Reef.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you was crap breaking up there.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I'm just
So
waiting.
your thoughts on this one?
So I'm just looking at George's comment.
Mm.
Well, he's basically agreeing with what you've just said, but I don't think you can fix systematic racism. I think it's something ingrained, but it's generational. No amount of money or protesting or anything of that nature is gonna break it.
Yeah. I think that's a key thing. You either have to have a war to destroy it, or you make something new. You can't fix it. It's impossible. Guys, this has been a good one, man. You know, I hope you guys have enjoyed this whole session with me and your boy Reef. I'm so glad that Reef came in here, because obviously I said again, Reef, I've known this guy for a long time, and I was happy that he came in and brought this stuff. And I said again, I love this conversation. And, you know, I always want to be clear here. These conversations aren't about I hate whitey, woe is me, oh my gosh, everyone is racist and everything. No. And that's why I said I want some white people on these things, but like I want some white guys on these flipping things. Because I love having really open conversations where we just really talk and just break things down. And I think that is what I would like in this whole thing, man. So I mean, Reef, any final words before we get out of here?
Well, it's just not something that you can cover in 2 hours, or think you can talk about in 2 hours and then everything's going to be fixed.
No. I mean, Reef, we talked for 4 hours on a Tuesday with 3 other people, and we only reached the tip of the iceberg. And that's 4 hours. So
exactly. So there's a lot of work to be done, and progress obviously will be made. It'll be slow, but it will be made. I think everybody just has to treat people on an individual sort of basis. And, you know, if someone's a bad guy, don't call him a black white guy, a black bad guy, or a white. He's just a bad guy. Don't always throw it in color into the situation. So take people basically on an individual basis until they prove you otherwise to you.
Guys, like the vid. If you're new, subscribe. And we will be back here on Tuesday. We'll be back here. So there's no live show tomorrow. I may put up a video, but we'll be back here for another live show probably on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we'll be back here to say what's up. Peace out, stay true, and we're out, man. Peace. Become a Half Hope Sort member and gain access to exclusive videos and also the chance to watch films, anime, or different videos with your boy HH exclusively. Just click below on the join button to join in and become a Half Hope Sort member to gain access to these perks. Just click on the community icon over here to view the new members only posts just for you.